So now let's think about what it is you are presenting about. Is this your pet subject, or is this something that's been forced upon you? And this is a way of looking at it, I think. First of all, if it's your pet subject, your area of expertise, then you're good. You know the data, you know the details, but the risk is you'll get carried away. The risk is you'll go off piste, you'll go off agenda, you will get carried away in the emotion of the moment or trying to answer a question or whatever. So the critical thing here is, if it's your pet subject or expertise, time yourself, control the time, and practice is important. If this isn't an area you've been volunteered for, maybe your manager has asked you to do a presentation or whatever, then you might not have all the detail. So do dry runs, prepare, rehearse. It's always important to practice and rehearse, but in this case, it's very important. And I think the second thing here is, my tips are, don't be afraid of using crib notes, and don't be afraid to have some support. The crib notes, if you've got some key points written down, big font, easy to read, the audience will never complain about you referencing to get a fact correct, to get a figure correct, to get a date correct. And secondly, if you're worried about drying up, the risk here is that you'll panic, you'll forget something or whatever. To have one of your team members there to support you, just like a prompter does for the actors in the theatre, who can offer you a key piece of information, a key point or whatever, put you back on track, then that is good. And again, the audience will not mind. And if you think about the purpose of what it is you're trying to do, and I think I break it down to three. I think you're trying to convince people about something, you're trying to educate people about something, you're trying to prove something to people. And each of these requires a slightly different approach to your content and structure of your presentation. So think about that. Are you trying to convince? Are you trying to educate? You're trying to prove. And finally, don't try and deliver 100% in the presentation. I was taught in the early days that structure it so it's kind of 80% entertainment, 20% information. Don't try and cram 100% information into the presentation itself. This is where takeaways, handouts, follow-ups are all completely acceptable, but make sure that happens after the event. Giving people handouts when they're in your presentation, unless it's a very specific presentation that does require them to look at the real detail, try and avoid it, because people will just look at the handouts and not pay attention to you. And actually, part of what you're trying to do, part of what you're trying to achieve through the presentation, is to bring across your passion, your enthusiasm, your desire, your drive to make a difference. And that is, again, in the area of convincing people, educating people, or proving something. So the key here is to think about your content.